rest of our inductee awards. And our first award tonight is for the Ag Hall of Fame Rising Star category. This acknowledges a young individual in the ag industry who demonstrates a commitment to community involvement with a dedication to enhance agriculture. The award is sponsored by Conover Insurance. Would you please help me welcome to the stage Tim Waters, who will tell us a little bit about our 2019 Ag Hall of Fame Rising Star, Rob Davis.
All right, thank you. Good evening. My name is Tim Waters. I'm with WSU Franklin County Extension Office. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the 2019 Mid-Columbia Ag Hall of Fame Rising Star Award winner, Rob Davis. Rob grew up and now lives in Connell. After graduating from Washington State University with a degree in ag economics, he began his agricultural career in 1999 working for Carl Noble, providing oversight of the farm's corn, wheat, and alfalfa. In 2003, a serious automobile accident left Carl unable to manage the farm, and Rob stepped in and provided leadership of the entire operation. In 2006, Rob started farming on his own with RHD Farms. Rob has been growing his farm since its inception and produces potatoes, corn, wheat, and alfalfa across the Columbia Basin. Understanding the importance of diversification and recognizing a niche, Rob also started a cattle transport business, 6D Cattle, in 2012, where he transports cattle and other agricultural commodities across the western states. These are both businesses that Rob built from the ground up. Starting a farm of his size in this day and age from scratch is not a trivial endeavor and should command great respect among all of his peers. A few of us got together earlier this week to brainstorm on some more lighthearted stories that we could share about Rob. PG stories, that is. We wanted to break up all the accolades. There's a lot of accolades to share, but we wanted to be a little bit more lighthearted. So we spent 3 hours at the tavern trying to think of lighthearted stories. I have nothing. 3 hours, few beers, we had nothing that we could share. What we instead decided before we parted ways was we're going to talk about a lot of things that Rob's very good at, but we thought we'd share some things that he's not so good at, that you guys might not know. Wing shooting, golf, almost anything athletic. These aren't all from me, Rob. But the first time I saw Rob shoot at birds, I'll say at birds, I thought he must be some sort of undercover pheasant conservationist. Or maybe he bought shells that didn't have any shot in them. The bird dog kept stopping and looking back at him like, what's going on? Are you serious? So my current theory with that is he just doesn't like to clean birds. Or maybe he's just really polite and wants to let the rest of us have a go at him. So Rob's known for his hard work and can-do attitude. A great example of this is his devotion to the success of his businesses. He's willing to haul calves in the back seat of his Ford F-150 Raptor pickup. For those of you not completely familiar with the Ford line of vehicles, hauling a calf in the back seat of a Raptor is akin to hauling one in the back seat of a brand new Cadillac. It's devotion. So apparently hasn't quite worked out all the logistics of the hauling business, but Rob will get there. Rob strives to continue learning and adopting new technologies to the farm. It's been a great pleasure for me to work with Rob because he's an early adopter and he's willing to try new things. When those new things fail, which they do when you're trying new things, he learns from them and moves on quickly. He's resilient in that regard. Rob has been a great advocate for agriculture in the Columbia Basin and beyond. He served as the chairman of the U.S. Potato Board. He's a member of the Washington Cattle Feeders Association, the Potato Growers of Washington, and the Farm Bureau. He's also a tremendous supporter of youth in agriculture, mentoring high school students with agriculture projects and supporting the Connell FFA, the Benton Franklin Fair and Rodeo, and the Columbia Basin Junior Livestock Show, to name a few. Rob is not just an entrepreneur, he's a devoted husband to his wife Randy and father to their 4 boys Trey, Jake, Jack, and Max. Rob is a proven community and business leader and advocate for agriculture in the Columbia Basin and beyond. Join me in congratulating Mr. Rob Davis on being selected as the 2019 Mid-Columbia Ag Hall of Fame Rising Star Award winner.
I got involved in the ag industry when I was in high school. All of my friends growing up in school were farm kids, and I grew up in town. And I just got to where I thoroughly enjoyed going out on the weekends and just being outside and doing whatever work needed done. As a young person looking for employment back then, if you worked at the grocery store, at the auto parts store, or whoever else was hiring in town, you were only limited to 30 to 40 hours a week. There's a lot more hours in a week than that. So the farm was one place where you could start a little earlier and you could stay a little later, and nobody ever minded that you had, the ambition to actually, put in a little extra. So what's unique about the agri industry in the Columbia Basin is water. We have the highest quality product. It doesn't matter whether it's potatoes or whether it's cherries or whether it's apples or whether it's alfalfa. We've got the highest quality product to sell anywhere in the world, and we're close to the port. We can put that product on a boat and we can get it anywhere in the world. A lot of it is just being analytical and just watching all the little details of everything that you do every day and kind of nitpicking yourself to try to figure out how to streamline any type of operation and make it better. I feel like if you're going to succeed in the future, you need to embrace technology and try to figure out not what is this costing me, but what can this gain me in the future. Started from scratch with nothing, and I had a lot of people that helped me get to where I'm at. So as other opportunities come where I can turn around and help someone else, more than happy to do it.
So here to present the award to Rob Davis is Kim Paul with Conover Insurance.
Rob, I just want to tell you thank you, and on behalf of Conover and the Chamber, thank you for all you do and all you are for our kids that are still growing up. And I want to tell you, I can't shoot birds and I can't golf worth a hoot. So congratulations.
Tim wasn't wrong. I can't shoot birds and I can't shoot golf, but it's still fun to waste the day away. I'd like to thank the Pasco Chamber of Commerce for throwing this amazing event to highlight area agriculture in Eastern Washington. It's a pretty special place to be. As Tim said earlier, I was chairman of the U.S. Potato Board, so I've traveled all across the United States to potato meetings, and there's no better place than home. It is a pretty amazing place to be able to farm and be able to live, and I'm pretty proud of it. It's a pretty special place for me to be here tonight, being inducted into this Hall of Fame. I get to join my father-in-law, Alan Oberding, my wife's grandma and grandpa, Polly and Sally Oberding, Dave Manarola, a cousin, and cousin Larry Oberding. It's a pretty cool deal just to, I guess, to be included. And I'd like to thank the committee and all of those who put forward nominations. And if I could go back 14 years, gonna get a little sentimental here, but in the video I said I started from scratch, and there's a couple people that really made that happen. I couldn't have ever got the ball rolling if it wasn't for the opportunity that Carl and Marty Noble gave me when they decided to quit growing potatoes. I will forever be grateful for that. There's a couple others that aren't here, but as I learned to grow potatoes, there's two folks that worked at Lamb Weston, and my field man was Ed Meekum and Dallas Batchelor, the agronomist. They were with me every day for a couple of years and taught me more than I ever let them know that they taught me. As I'm up here, accepting an award, I'm kind of the front man, but I'm really not the guy that gets everything done. So there's a whole team, there's a whole group of people that have gotten our ventures to where they are. And we have a great group of farm managers, the office staff, the operators, the irrigators, the truck drivers, the guys running the herbigators. I get to be the front man, but they're the one that really make everything happen. So there's no way to ever say thank you to those that care as much as you do and are out there actually getting the job done. There's suppliers that have been with us from the beginning. There's buyers, partners, and and at the end of the day, there's a family. And my wife Randy and our 4 boys, that they don't always like when I come home and say, I got a little project, but they're always there to help and to support and to make sure at the end of the day everything gets done. Looking back 14 years ago at the very first year, growing potatoes in the Columbia Basin, it's not everybody gets that opportunity, and I got it. There was no doubt in my mind that it was going to work. I had the confidence. I had no know-how. I absolutely did not know what I was doing, but I had confidence. We'll figure it out. And growing up in Connell, in a small town, in the small community, I don't know if it could have been better. There was, every day you would run into the old timer that had retired and offering you the piece of advice or this is what I did. This is what I didn't do. If you need help, if you need a piece of equipment, if you need anything, let us know. And it's a pretty amazing to look back and just see that nobody owed me anything, but everybody came to help. The kid that knew nothing. He thought he knew everything, but he really knew nothing. And probably about halfway through that first year of farming on my own, probably questioned my own sanity. How did I ever think that I am ever going to make this work? But, when we got to the end of the first year and everything was done, you had this great feeling of like, we did it. We made it to the first finish line. And later on, we made it to a few more finish lines. We had a few more victories. And we had defeats because, just like life, every day isn't a victory. And as farmers, we go plant the crop and we want to see this. We want to see the perfect crop. But realistically, at the end of the year, if we ever did have a perfect crop, we're never going to learn anything from that. The years that we learn is the disaster. We don't learn what to do, but we learn what to not do again. And it's a big piece of life also. None of us in this room know what to do tomorrow, but through past experiences, we know what not to do. Over time, the farm has grown. We plant a few more potatoes and wheat and corn and hay and cattle. And as Tim likes to crack jokes about the trucking company, we've got trucks, running around the West Coast, which create a little bit of stress here and there. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Franklin County and Eastern Washington is absolutely the best place to live. It's the best place to farm. And I've been around the U.S. and looked at other agriculture, and I think those who haven't done that don't realize what we have here. We have greatest soil, we have the greatest weather, we have the greatest water. We have the one place in the United States where the Snake River and the Columbia River meet. And they've never been dry. And I think a lot of time we don't understand what that really means. But me personally, I get to wake up every day living a dream. And that dream's gone further than I would have ever dreamt. So, in closing, I just like to say, here in Eastern Washington, here in the Columbia Basin, where people are what make this area great, and we're blessed. We're blessed to be a part of America. We're blessed for the opportunities that the Lord's given us. We're blessed to live here and have the great area that we have and to enjoy the fruits of our labor. Personally, I'm blessed to be able to farm in the Columbia Basin. Highest potato yields in the world. You know, I'm pretty proud of that. Blessed to have family and friends. You know, as folks came in tonight, can't say hi to everybody because there's too many friends. And that's a great place to be. So, well, and as Walt said earlier, let's not forget, we need to bless Trump. So, thank you for the award.